In other news from around the world, rescue mission has been completed as crash sites buildings, where buildings were searching for missing people and aircraft debris in charred buildings in Ahmedabad began on Friday after more than 240 people were killed in an Air India Boeing 787 crash. Local media reports that India was considering grounding the airline's 787 fleet for safety checks. The Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner, with 242 people on board, was bound for Gatwick Airport, south of London, took off over a residential area and disappeared from view before a huge fireball was seen rising into the sky from beyond the houses, CCTV footage showed. To discuss this, we're joined by Managing Director of Aero Contractors of Nigeria Limited, Captain Ado Sanusi. Thank you so much, Captain, for joining us at this time.
Thank you for having me.
So, as a pilot, you've actually seen the video circulating online on, the takeoff. After going through the video, what would you suggest was the problem? What happened?
Well, there's an ongoing investigation, so we would like not to speculate. And our heartfelt condolence to the good people of India and to the families and loved ones of the passengers, that crew that passed on the ill-fated flight. But looking at the footage and the what we've seen on the social media, immediately after takeoff, what as a pilot, what you see is that the airplane lost lift after takeoff. Now, what causes an airplane to lose lift? That means the wings are not generating enough lift to sustain flight, or the engines are not generating enough thrust to sustain flight. And that caused the airplane to gently go like a controlled flight into the buildings, which then, of course, snowballed into a ball fire, of course, because of the a lot of fuel that is on board the flight. It's a long-distance flight from Ahmedabad to Gatwick, London Gatwick. So as a pilot, there are things that, and it's a clear weather, so it's highly unlikely you will have weather interference to bring the aircraft down. And there has not been reported, well, what the information we are having is that there have not been reported any bad activities, any birds activities around the airport area to suggest there was a bird strike that caused the engines to flame out. And the Boeing 787 Dreamliner, it's one of the most successful aircrafts built by Boeing. It has an impeccable safety records. Apart from the early stage when it was rolled out, which had some issues on the battery, the safety record is quite impeccable and is state-of-the-art aircraft, next-generation aircraft. So we, as a pilot, we are all waiting to see. We respect the regulators and the investigation and all the collaboration of both the manufacturers and the local regulators and the international bodies that are coming to check and see what exactly happened, and we can learn from that.
All right, so speaking of safety, now some analysts actually suggest that the flips were not activated or that certain safety systems might not have been engaged. How critical are these, systems during takeoff?
Again, we try not to speculate. But what you see on the video is that the aircraft is configured for takeoff, meaning there is what we call the leading edge and the trailing edge flaps, which is supposed to be extended to augment the lift of the aircraft. From the video footage, you could see probably the flaps are not in that position for takeoff, probably. And again, it's purely speculative, and it's purely what was seen on the footage. So yes, probably the aircraft wasn't configured for takeoff. Yes, they are saying that the aircraft actually took off on not using the full length of the runway. The aircraft was not configured for takeoff, And after takeoff, usually, when you have a positive rate of climb, when you are very sure you are climbing up, you take the gears up. The gears are the tires, so you take it up to reduce the drag so that you can climb fast. But it looks like, from the footage again, it looks like the landing gears, that is the tires, are still down, and which will cause a lot of drag, which will not give the required lift for the aircraft. So there are so many factors. Even
what about the human factor? To what extent could human errors have contributed?
Definitely, there will be human factors. It could be. It depends on what they find. But there could be human factor. There could be human error. There could be so many things. Even if let's say they had a bad fuel, it could happen that the two engines flame out because of bad fuel. It could happen. That's human error. It could be the crew probably did not set the aircraft, configured the aircraft exactly for takeoff, and they used a shorter part of the runway to take off. That could be human error. But these are all speculative. We have to wait and see the investigation, which I believe will come out as quickly as possible, because I believe they will quickly see the black box that is there.
Yeah, we'll wait for that then. So what about, the airplane actually crashed into residential buildings. Yeah. What are the negative impacts of having houses, residential houses, close to an airport?
Yes, so it is extremely important when and mostly in the build-up areas to allow what we call a clear way. There is a path for the aircraft to take off, and which it's usually left clear of buildings. So it's dangerous to have buildings immediately after the runway. But I believe the clear path, because what the clear path does, it's that when you abort takeoff, when you decide not to take off, and then you now are braking. In the event you cannot brake all the way on the runway, you can now skid off to what we call the clear path. The clear path is supposed to be without buildings. So yes, it is desirous to have an airport without the build-up areas around the area. But I mean, as airports are built, residential properties are being developed around the airport also.
Okay, so what are the chances of that one person surviving? Because according to what he said, he opened the emergency exit door and jumped while the plane was, crashing. What are the chances of his survival? Well,
nobody can tell you what happened exactly. It's just a miracle that he survived the crash. Out of the 240-something people, he was the only person that survived the crash. Because remember, the airplane crashed into buildings, and it did not crash land on the runway. It did not crash land on or ditched on the waters where when you open the exit, you can jump out. This one is crashed into buildings.
So something could have broken his fall.
There's an impact to the buildings, and so probably he was lucky to walk out of the airplane alive. There are some crashes that you see one or two people walked out of the crashes right. alive without any right. problem.
Well, thank you so much for your time and for speaking to us, Captain Ado Sanusi.
Thank you very much for having me.
I appreciate you for your time.